The truth is that so much which is called conspiracy theory is actually conspiracy fact. Not all of it, but enough to show that the people that run the world are not the ones the news media tell us do.
The New World Order is a belief, I guess you'd say. The conspiracy theory of the New World Order is a belief that, on the part of usually right-wing groups, I think, that there is sort of a secret organization of maybe the United Nations or something like that, that plans to impose kind of a one-world government on the entire planet.
The New World Order wants to create a world currency, a world government, a world army, a world religion. And it's not of Christ, of Buddha, it's not of the Muslim faith, it is a satanic order.
I think the most important first thing to say is that a policy for a new world order does exist. That's often poo-pooed and made fun of in the mainstream press, and yet the reality is it's there.
Our institutions of freedom have lain dormant. The United Nations can offer them new life. These institutions play a crucial role in our quest for a new world order.
Their agenda is control. Control of our currency, control of our families, of our freedoms, of our religions. They want it all. There's nothing that you have, or ever had, or ever hope to have that they're not planning to taking away. They want it all.
There are many aspects to it, but the key agenda, and I would emphasize, we talk about conspiracies. What I'm talking about is not actually a conspiracy, not at its heart. It is an agenda. It is an agenda for the centralized control of planet Earth and all its people. Where the conspiracies come in is in manipulating that agenda into reality.
At the heart of the New World Order conspiracy is the belief that ordinary life is somehow controlled by a mysterious secret society, intent on pursuing its own gains at the expense of the rest of us. If this is true, who are these people, and do they really have the power to control our lives?
The New World Order theories are sort of what I call unified field theories, because they try to bring every event that could ever possibly happen under one giant conspiracy theory. And usually behind the conspiracy, according to the theory, is some secret group, some secret society. And depending on who you talk to, it's usually a version of what's called the Illuminati. Now, the Illuminati were a real organization that did exist in the 18th century in Europe. They were sort of kind of like the Masons. They kind of grew out of the Freemasonry movement, sort of even more secret than Freemasons. And a lot of people think that they probably did have something to do with the French Revolution and that sort of thing. The conspiracy theory would have you believe that the Illuminati have continued to exist to this very day, and maybe even existed prior to the 18th century, in fact, going back thousands of years.
After I'd identified the structure through which the world was controlled today and the organizations, many of them anyway, through which it was done, became very clear to me, and didn't take a genius, that this structure could not be put together in 5 minutes or 5 years or 50 years. It had to go back a very long time.
The New World Order, it seems, goes back to the very beginnings of civilization itself.
When you get back into the ancient world, you find a stunning common theme. Gods with advanced knowledge that created ancient advanced civilizations which modern archaeology and history still cannot explain. These gods, which appeared to be of a reptilian genetic stream originally, interbred with humanity, creating hybrid bloodlines, which were a fusion of the gods and humanity.
Uit het think some of these facts or factoids that exist only in conspiracy theory probably have no basis in fact at all. But I like the theory about the world being descended from extraterrestrials who came here about 4,000 years ago, interbred with some human beings, and have been ruling the rest of us ever since. I like that theory because it has a science fiction eeriness and charm to it.
Now, ancient Babylon appears to have been the center for this network and these bloodlines in the ancient world. When it moved across to Rome, that's when we had the Roman Empire. When it eventually moved across to London, the Great British Empire expanded these bloodlines to the Americas, to Africa, to Australia, through Asia to China. And then when you start to do the genealogy to complete the circle of the people in positions of power today, like the presidents of the United States, for instance, and this is mainstream genealogy, not conspiracy research genealogy, you see the same bloodline coming up over and over and over again, and you realize the obsession the Illuminati have with bloodline, then pieces seem to fit.
This Illuminati, which is sort of, a group of people who are smarter and better and faster and quicker than the rest of us, are pulling the strings. Now, if they've really been around for 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years, you kind of wonder why they haven't managed to, take over the world yet. It's been a long time.
When you put all this information together, the way the same bloodlines turn up in the positions of power, not just now, but way back in history. I've identified with different sources of genealogical research a bloodline that starts in ancient Sumer in Egypt and comes up to George W. Bush and the Bush family and many other people in the world today, Al Gore as well. And the people in it are some of the great names and changers of the world throughout human history of the last 5,000 years. It's unbelievable.
Conspirologists see Illuminati symbols everywhere. It seems the Illuminati have been using the same symbols for thousands of years, and yet many of us are totally unaware of their existence.
If you take a look at the backside of the dollar bill, it'll say Novus Ordo Seclorum, the new social order. And they have the pyramid. And that has nothing, not a damn thing to do with the United States of America. I was going to take a look at, a bill. And you can take a look on the backside of the bill and it'll say, here. You can hardly see it. But it's Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order. It's what Hitler envisioned. It's on the backside of the United States dollar bill. The eye of the pyramid, which is also called the Eye of Horus, is the Eye of Lucifer. This is what we are facing.
Well, as for the seal on the dollar bill, I've always found that one of the more absurd parts of conspiracy theory. If there was a conspiracy, why would they be advertising themselves out in public like that? A lot of conspiracy theorists seem to think conspirators go around doing two things: A, conspiring, and B, leaving clues behind so you can detect their conspiracies. That sounds rather ridiculous to me.
Just to give you an idea of how black is white and topsy is turvy in relation to our perception of what's going on compared with what is. In New York Harbor is a lady holding a lighted torch, a Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty, land of the free. That's what most Americans, 99.9% of them, believe that stands for. In fact, that was given to New York Harbor by French Freemasons who knew that it was an Illuminati symbolism of, we control the show, we're telling you, but because you don't know the secret language and we've given you another version of it, freedom, you don't know what's going on.
But a lot of that might have had to do with the fact that a lot of people in our government have belonged to the Masonic movement, including the founders of this country. George Washington was a Mason. There's a famous picture of him wearing his Masonic apron, and a lot of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were Masons. And I think 16 presidents, I'm not sure the exact number, but I think 16 different presidents have been Freemasons. So, I guess when there's that many Freemasons in the government, it's not surprising that you see these Masonic symbols every now and then. Now, does that mean that there's some Masonic conspiracy to take over the U.S. or the world?
According to conspiracy theorists, this hybrid bloodline is active today within the major political and corporate institutions of the world. Through shadowy organizations such as the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, and Trilateral Commission, the Illuminati seek to preserve their bloodline and control the world.